I'd like to welcome everyone to the 2020 version of Meet the Pipers here at Piper Stadium. We are live streaming the event tonight on the internet, and we'd like to give you the broadcast sponsors that have signed up to be sponsors for this year's Piper football. Lawrence Hall Ford, Bell's Home and Auto, First National Bank Anson, Lawrence Hall Chevy, Hamlin Lions Club, Ekdahl Nelson Real Estate, Teague Diversified, Hamlin CISD, Stamford Insurance Agency, Hamlin Rotary Club, John August Young Cattle LLC, Permico, Subway, Hamlin Dental, The Book Nook, Lone Star Ag Credit, Veterans Plumbing, Capital Farm Credit, First Baptist Church, Fisher Jones Title Company, Hamlin Chamber of Commerce, Hamlin Medical Clinic, James Rogers and Associates, M&C Lumber, Pied Piper Grocery, and Vista Bank. Hopefully there'll be others, but those are the ones as of this evening that have signed up to sponsor the broadcast. We're scheduled to start at 6:30. Order will be the band will be introduced first at 6:30, followed by the junior high cross country participants, as well as after them the high school cross country runners. Then at 6:50 we'll have the junior high and high school cheerleaders, followed at 7 o'clock by the junior high football, 7:10 the high school football, and then remind all parents of athletes participating in fall sports that Coach Lucas would like to speak with all the parents as soon as we have all of the participants, all of the students, athletes introduced. And that will be immediately following the introduction of the high school football players. I'll try to remind you of that at the very end. Official time is 6:30, but we want to give Caleb just a few more minutes. We're trying to get the end zone camera online, as well as the cameras that we have up here in the press box to stream the activities. So relax for just a minute, and we'll try to get rolling here in just a couple of minutes. All the band members, we're going to be announcing introducing the band members by grade And it'll be alphabetical by grade, starting with the ninth grade, the freshmen, sophomores, and then the juniors, if you want to get somewhat lined up or ready to go. All right, I think we're about ready to kick this thing off. Starting with the introduction for the freshman members of the band. Like I said, these are alphabetical. Swinson Benavides is in the band. Laney Clatterball is coming from the tunnel over there. Nolan De La Cruz. There's Swinson. Abel Heaton. Bonnie Lee. Ryland Littlefield. And David Watson. Those are the freshmen. Sophomores. Emily Deargen. Amari Garcia. Allison Prater. Lily Thompson. And Nicholas Walker. Hackler. Abby Hood. Kelsey Johnson. Jacelyn Sanders. And Kylan Warren, 7th grade girls. 8th grade girls, Kiera Dancer. Penelope De La Cruz. Sky Leak. Zaya Montoya. And Sayoni Patel. Moving on to the boys, 7th grade boys. Skylar Pond. Ian Gruben. And Adam Benavides. And finally, for the 8th grade boys, Aaron Hernandez. Joseph Green. Grayson Shoemaker. And David Don Juan. And also, I would like to introduce our high school Varsity girls in alphabetical order. Mia Alarcon. Katie Bernal. Cora Bodas. MJ DeJean. Emily Donovan. Samantha Gonzalez. Hannah Larson. Brianna Leak. Zoe Moore. Lakeisha Patel. Taylor Reed. And Jenna Van Cleve. Piper fans, this is your 2020 cross-country teams representing Hamlin Collegiate. Next, we'd like to introduce our cheerleaders. I'll give him a chance to get together, get ready to get out on the field. All right, introducing the junior high cheerleaders for 2020. It's Lizzie Hackler. Sky Leak. Zaya Montoya. Sayoni Patel. Jacelyn Sanders. And Cadence Yarbrough. 2020 Hamlin Junior High cheerleaders. order, don't they? Looks like they're in order. There's Jordan, there's Jenna. Nope.
That's not Jenna.
That's not Jenna.
Cammy. Start down here and then we'll go.
We could, you rather me go in order?
You can. That's Samantha. Emily. What numbers, Mom?
Yeah, let's just do this. Samantha.
Samantha. Emily.
Okay.
Katie.
There's Katie right here.
Jenna.
Jenna down here.
Martin. Kelsey.
Okay.
Caitlin.
Okay.
Lainey.
Okay.
Cammy.
Okay.
Jordan.
All right. I think we've got everything lined up camera-wise. Now time for the Hamlin High School Cheerleaders 2021. Left to right this time. Let's start out with Samantha Gonzalez. Next is Emily Castillo. Next is Katie Leonard. And the next two are senior. First is Captain Jenna Van Cleve. Her funniest cheer moment, as she wrote down as a senior, was one day at a football game she got kicked in the face during a stunt. And our other senior, co-captain Caitlin Clausen. Her favorite cheer moment was not a specific one, but she did like all the bus rides to and from the games. Next is Kelsey Martin. Next is Lainey Clatterball. Then Cammy Clatterball. And finally, the world famous mascot, Jordan Woods. Ladies and gentlemen, those are your 2021 Hamlin Collegiate ISD cheerleaders. Russell's ready to go at 6:47, or if he wants to wait a little bit. I think he's got to put his kids on there. I think they're all down. They're walking the seventh. Are they walking the junior high kids around? Yeah, they are. You what? Yeah, that looks better. Schedule-wise, we're not start till 7. No. Beginning with the 7th grade. I believe these guys are in alphabetical order. 7th graders putting on the pads for the first time, Adam Benavides Jr. Dylan Carson. Callan Clausen. Ian Grubin. Hagen Holland. Joshua Holloway Garza. Isaiah Hutchings. Cade Jones. Cohen Lakey. Derek Lachuga. Lucas Ledesma. Zane Leonard. Dusty Littlefield. Skylar Pond. And Hudson Smith. Let our 7th graders get lined up there, and then we'll introduce the 8th graders. All right, the other half of our junior high 2021 football team will be the 8th graders in alphabetical order. Miguel Benavides. Jance Bodis. Mason Brannon. Alfredo Castillo. David Don Juan. Joseph Green. Aaron Hernandez. Ivan Hernandez. Bruce Holloway. Dominic Lechuga. Isaiah Morrison. And the manager for the 8th graders, Grayson Shoemaker. Ladies and gentlemen, your 2020 Hamlin Junior High Pipers. And beginning with, and these are alphabetical as well, Swinson Benavides. Cornelius Burnett. Brandon Casillas. Fabian Delgado. Jacoby Goodgame. Manager Rylan Littlefield. Xavier Moreno. Clayton Reister. And last but not least, the freshman class, A.J. Rivera. All right, let's move on to the sophomores. Beginning with Gage Carson. Brandon Farrell. Isaac Flores. Isaiah Garza. Zamian Montoya. Samuel McNeely. Colton Spalding. Pete Irvina. Nicholas Walker. And last but not least, for the sophomores, Benjamin White. Moving on to the juniors. Alphabetically, we'll start with Adrian Aldape. Cole Clatterbaugh. Jude DeJean. Josh Hood. Josh Joyner. Benson Larson. Damian Lachuga. And the last of our juniors, Jackson White. Like to we'll be introducing the seniors. We'll be telling you a little bit more about them, and they also were given an opportunity to answer a few questions about the playing football and pregame routine, biggest fans, who you'd like to be, how you'd like to be remembered, favorite or funniest moment, and how excited you are for the fall sports this year. So we'll start alphabetically with Dylan Bell, middle linebacker and offensive center. Dylan says he'd like to be remembered as the best. And as far as excitement for this sports year, he is really excited. Next is Ethan Byerly. Ethan is a offensive tackle and a defensive end. Ethan would like to be remembered for his relentless effort and also his toughness. His favorite sports moment was just last year beating Stratford in the semifinal game. That was pretty exciting after the first game with those guys. Next would be Austin Castillo. Austin is a wide receiver, offense, and a defensive back on the defensive side. His favorite or funniest sports moment, he said, was the all-you-can-eat buffets in the playoffs. How excited are you for fall sports? Very excited, says Austin. Next would be Manny De La Cruz. Manny is a running back, offense, and a linebacker on defense. In his regular pregame routine, he likes to focus on the game and listen to some good music. He also, as far as how he's excited for the sports year in the fall, he is very excited. Next would be Cutter Martin. Cutter is the wide receiver and also cornerback, defensive back. Thought it was interesting in his pregame routine. Likes to drink a lot of chocolate milk and eat white Kit Kats and Reese's. Also, as far as how he would like to be remembered, he said he'd like to be remembered as one of the most hardworking and successful people I could be, both in and away from football. Next Piper is Antonio Perez. Antonio's offensive lineman and also a defensive lineman. As far as his funniest or favorite memory, he likes to reflect on the many locker room memories through the years. And Antonio mentions that he is very excited this year for football. Next senior would be Trenton Pritchard. Trenton's plays offensive guard. Boy, you talk about a great answer. How would you like to be remembered? Trenton put down as state champions. Favorite sports moment, the grind to get to Jerry's World. And as far as excitement for the coming year, he's been looking forward to this since last December. Next Piper would be A.J. Ramirez. Jack of all trades, running back, receiver, quarterback, linebacker. His pregame routine, he likes to eat a bunch of food. And his favorite sports moment might be one of the same ones that you might have sitting there in the stands. Beating Albany last year, 66-20. Next is his cousin, Jackson Cepeda. Of course, Jackson is a running back as well as a linebacker. He listed a favorite funny sports moment. That was Coach Lucas sagging his pants and dancing with us in the locker room during his sophomore year. Hope he's got lots to dance about this year also, Jackson. As far as how excited you are for fall football this year, Jackson says beyond excited just because of all the COVID stuff that made it unsure. Next Piper is Jonah Schwartzfager. Offensive and defensive line are the position for Jonah. Pre-game routine, he likes to listen to a lot of music. And as far as this fall in sports, he is very excited. Next senior is Jaden Vaughn. Wide receiver, defensive end. Pre-game routine, he likes to eat as well. And Jaden says, when asked who is your biggest fan, he said, myself. I thought that was a good answer. How excited are you for the sports this fall? He says, very excited. Next senior is Ray Villanueva. Playing the Raider position on defense and also on offense, an outside receiver. Ray says for his pregame routine, he likes to get hyped up in the locker room with all the boys. And I thought it was pretty good. What is your favorite or funniest sports moment? He mentioned he really likes football practice when it rains. Ex-Piper is Braden Warner. Of course, Braden is a quarterback and a defensive back. His pregame routine, he likes to listen to that music and go over the game plan over and over. He wants to be known as one of the greatest quarterbacks in Hamlin's history, and he just funniest or favorite moment last year was playing in Cowboys Stadium in the in the finals. Last but not least, Travion Williams. Travion is a wide receiver on offense and a defensive back on defense. His pregame routine includes stretching and wrestling. He says, how would he like to be remembered? He'd like to be remembered as a very attractive and funny guy. Also, I'd like to introduce our managers. for our high school football managers. You guys ready to come out on the field? Ian Grubin, Isaiah Hutchings, Hagan Holland, Skylar Pond, Hudson Smith, Mason Brannon, and Jance Bodis. Those guys do an awful lot of work and get very little credit. I know the players appreciate them immensely. Ladies and gentlemen, these are the players that will be taking the field representing Hammond Collegiate this year, either in a varsity or a junior varsity capacity. Let's give them all a big hand. Mind you that Coach Lucas is making his way here to the stands. And at this time, he's going to have a few words for all of our parents and guardians of our players.
Maybe it'll work. Some of you have heard this 13 times.